Island in New York City. Today is opening day and we are going to explore it. Hi, I'm Megan, a licensed New York City tour guide. I'm super excited to show you Little Island. It's the man-made island right behind me. It looks like it is on golf tees. We're gonna be some of the first people to explore it. But first, I'm gonna need you to hit subscribe so you never miss a New York minute. And now we're gonna explore Little Island.
Yeah, Muffin Talk. Muffin Talk. Muffin Talks, bringing healing to those who need it most.
At the entrance of Little Island, there's this rusty square arch. It kind of looks gross. Like, why is there this rusty square arch before we go on to this beautiful man-made pier? We have some traffic going behind us. This arch is actually a really important bit of history. This pier used to belong to White Star and Cunard Line. White Star Line owned a famous ship called the Titanic. It was supposed to dock in New York City. It never made it all the way to New York City, but the Carpathia, which was the boat that had the survivors of the Titanic, did dock in New York City, and it docked right here where you would now find Little Island. This arch is actually landmarked as a memory to when this belonged to White Star Line and Cunard Line, and if you were to get really close to it, you can kind of just make out the words Cunard Line and White Star Line. You'll see there's a really long line of people. Just so you know, you want to make your reservations online. I believe the website is littleisland.org. I'll link it in the comments below. That way you don't have to wait in the really long line. Right before we enter Little Island proper, we're going to go underneath. They call these the clay pots or the tulip buds. They're what holds Little Island up. And if you come close, you'll see they go into the water, and each of those pillars is actually on top of a piece that used to be an old pier that was here. Actually, I get a lot of questions from tourists when I'm taking them on tours. They'll see a lot of like wooden sticks sticking up out of the water. Those are all old piers. But it turned out that the sticks that go in the water, they make really good ecosystems for fish. So they wanted to keep the ecosystem in the Hudson as good as possible. All the jokes about how you're gonna get a third eye if you swim in the Hudson, well, we clean the Hudson up a lot. And they tried to make Little Island as eco-friendly as possible, so this is where it starts. We're gonna go head on in. We have made it to Little Island. It's such like a perfect island for twirling. I feel the need to twirl. So Little Island is a 2.4 acre man-made island. And even though as like you look around, there are all of like these hills and valleys, it's actually a perfect square. If you were in a helicopter looking at it from above, it would be a perfect square. They kind of have divided it into different quadrants. Each one has like a little bit of a different ecosystem. The one that sticks out to me first is the northeast quadrant. This is known as the playground. There is food here. So we're gonna go get food and see what we see. So let's go see what they have to eat. Scott and I are in line waiting to get our bites and sips. I think I'm going to get a bubbly. They do have adult beverages. I'm super excited because I love having a nice cocktail out on a sunny day. They also have things like fried macaroni and cheese, which we might actually split. So it looks yummy. Let's find out if it's actually yummy, and it will be amazing. We're waiting for our food. We got the fried macaroni and cheese bites, and I got a rosé, and Scott got a beer. This chair is really funny because we have really low chair and a really high table, which is why I'm sitting like this. I also want to let everyone know that if you do come to get food here, you definitely want to scan the QR code for the full menu, because I didn't realize there are 3 different food stands and each one lists different things on the menu. So I got like a can of rosé, which will be amazing. I'm super excited. But they also have fresh homemade cocktails, and I definitely would have ordered one of those if I had known that they exist. So they have QR codes that say scan the QR code for the full menu, and you want to do that. While we wait for our food, it's opening day, so they're figuring out how to get everything together. It's been about a 30-minute wait so far, but But that's okay, because it's a gorgeous day. And I just wanted to point out that this area of the playground, I took the audio tour. They give you a free audio tour on their website. And they said that this has Zippo shade. And it really does have Zippo shade. So it's great for me, the Floridian that likes to get all of that vitamin D from the sun. But Scott and I actually got really lucky because we got a table. If you look, they actually put up, they almost look like sails, right? To make sure that you have shade while you eat. And we got super lucky because we got a table, so when our food does come, we'll be nice and shady. It was a 40-minute wait. We're gonna hope it was worth it. I got my Archer Rosé, and here is our fried mac and cheese bites. Let's have a look. Oh, they look really good. Here, get up nice and close to these guys. Woo! Okay. Let's see. Oh, they're really hot, so they haven't been sitting around. They're nice and fresh. These are worth the wait. The outside is so crunchy. The inside is so gooey, and they're really flavorful. So I'm excited. I might not leave any for Scott. We have finished our macaroni and cheese bites. They were so good. And we are now going to go and explore more of Little Island. I do not see a sign saying that I can't take this with me as I walk, so I'm going to go do that. And I'll let you know if I get in trouble. But we're gonna go explore this 2.4 acre park. We've left the food area. I have this like wonderful grassy hill. The grass is very soft. I always make a joke that in Manhattan, we don't have like a great beach in Manhattan. So we New Yorkers will find these like grassy areas and we just pretend that we have a beach. We lay out here and get a suntan. Perfect place to sip rosé. You could probably spend hours here. I can actually see the Empire State Building from here. This is like a great place to have a picnic. Maybe we just ate, but it's kind of a cool place to chill and just soak in New York. They have this fun little interactive area right here. You can make music with your feet. This is so much fun. I saw like a lot of kids playing on this earlier, but I think it's really fun for adults too. This is a really cool feature here at Little Island. We're now going to explore some cool features, some cool geographic features of Little Island. So in the playground area, you actually can't see the water at all. I believe as we climb up this path, we will get to see the water. And there's flowers all around. These flowers are meant to bloom seasonally. So every season you get, when I took the audio tour, they called it a riot of colors. So we're gonna hopefully get a riot of different colors as we walk up this hill. You can see the Empire State Building again. I've lived in New York City for almost 20 years and I never don't get excited when I see the Empire State Building. So I'm very excited that I can see it now. This is just a really cool view. Behind me, you have One World Trade Center, the tall building that has the spire on top of it. It's my personal favorite observatory in New York City on top of One World Trade Center. It's called One World Observatory. You can see off to my right, probably your left as you're watching this, there's this big blocky white building. That is the Whitney Museum, which was the very first museum in New York City to be dedicated entirely to American art. You then have that rusty arch again, if you remember the rusty arch, which is where the Carpathia docked. And then there's this like tall, skinny building. That is the Standard Hotel. It's kind of a funny hotel because a park known as the High Line, which is built on an elevated railroad, goes underneath the Standard Hotel. And not everybody closes their curtains when they stay in that hotel. So when you're walking on the High Line, you can get some pretty interesting views. There's also some really good like cocktail bars inside of the Standard Hotel as well. And then I can still see that Empire State Building in front of me. This is a cool piece of rotating art here. Going into another dimension. I wish I had something deep to say about it. I just think it's cool. Am I an influencer yet? So this is sort of the top outlook of this Quadrant that we are looking out of. If you look off in the distance, so this is the first time that I've gotten to see water since I've been on Little Island. And if you look up in the distance, you are going to see a fireboat. This is Fireboat 343. It's named for the 343 firefighters who lost their lives in the 9/11 attacks. And the metal lettering on the outside of that fireboat is actually made out of metal that was recovered from the original Twin Towers. So it's very much a memorial boat. It is a fully operational fireboat, but it tends to come out more for like ceremonial purposes. So for example, during Fleet Week, when we have all of these Navy ships come in, that will be out with its fire hoses going, and it looks like watery fireworks. I always love seeing Fireboat 343, and we have more Manhattan Beach here. Across the Hudson River is the one thing that like literally everybody comes to see when they come to New York City. You will see the great state of New Jersey. Fun fact, M&Ms were invented in New Jersey. True story. I had to twirl on the stage. Now I will leap off of the stage. One of the cool things about Little Island is throughout the summer, they have all sorts of different performances planned. They even have artist residencies, so you can visit their website. Again, I'm gonna link that in the comments below, and they will tell you which artists and which performances are scheduled on which day, so you can decide what day you wanna come to Little Island to hear music or see your favorite performer. I'm a little ashamed of myself because I was not the first one to spot this. Scott was, but way off in the distance. It's gonna look like a dot on my phone, but way off in the distance from this amphitheater section where there's a stage, you can see the Statue of Liberty. The moment that everyone's been waiting for, like the true hard-hitting news and information. Yes, there are bathrooms on Little Island, and yes, they are clean and they are huge and there are plenty of them, so you're not gonna spend your entire trip to Little Island waiting for the bathroom. I'm a tour guide. Everyone always asks for the bathroom, so here they are. We are about to explore the southwest quadrant of Little Island. I'm super excited about this one. This one, if you come at sunset, this is the quadrant where you're going to see the best sunsets, and I just love looking out at the water, so I can't wait to climb up these stairs and see what the view is. So follow me. We are almost at the summit of the southwest quadrant of Little Island. I can tell that this is going to be the area where all of like the influencers and content creators are going to want to be. You can see how crowded it is. On the audio tour that Little Island has on their website, it's an excellent audio tour. It's very comprehensive. It's about 40 minutes long, totally free. They tell you all about the different plants and flowers that they have here. I learned that there are 5 different types of soil that they use to plant the flowers and trees here on Little Island. And on that audio tour, I believe, if I remember correctly, we are 6 stories above the Hudson River here. So you get this glorious view. Right now we got some music playing, so we can dance. And in addition to getting the glorious view of New Jersey and the Statue of Liberty, I'm gonna make Scott show you the skyline. You will see One World Observatory again. And then off to the left of that, you will see a building that looks like it's made out of all these different types of Jenga blocks. That is 56 Leonard Street. And it's supposed to look like, I guess, an urban suburb. The idea is if you live in the suburbs, you will live like perhaps on a cul-de-sac where all of the houses are different sizes and shapes and distances from the street. And the architects of that building just decided to take that little suburban cul-de-sac and turn it vertically. It's a really cool skyscraper out there. So we're gonna attempt being the key word, to break through this crowd and see what we see at the summit of the southwest quadrant of Little Island. I've made it to the summit. If I wasn't using my camera to film, I'd be using my camera to take influencer photos of myself. This is the spot to do that. It is a glorious view. You get that Fireboat 343 again. You have New Jersey. You have Statue of Liberty way off in the distance. You have the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. You have One World Observatory, that beautiful skyline, and you have this beautiful breeze that's coming in at us from the Hudson River. So on this super hot day, it's really cool. We're still here at the southwest quadrant of Little Island. We're now looking north, and as you look north, and a little slightly northeast, you will see Hudson Yards, including their observatory, The Edge. Some people call it the Tony Stark building because it kind of looks like Stark Tower from the Avengers. It's the tall building, it has kind of a slanted roof, and then there's like a slab coming out of it. That's a really fun observatory, and they actually have a glass floor that you can walk out onto and look down. It's the newest observatory that has opened so far in New York City, so it's kind of a really hot ticket at the moment, and it's kind of cool to see that. And as we also look north, you might see some like black scaffolding with some like green and black netting hanging down from it. That is Chelsea Piers, which is a sports mega complex, and that is the golf driving range of Chelsea Piers. So if you come to New York City and you're afraid that your golf swing will get rusty, never fear. Chelsea Piers is here to save the day. It is now time to leave the southwest quadrant, and we're going to go to our last quadrant, the northwest quadrant. So we're going to walk down these stairs and see what we see. Whoa, we have military planes flying over us. Most people who are here like just enjoying the sun and the atmosphere. There is a guy talking about cryptocurrency and having a really deep conversation about that. So all kinds of fun people here enjoying Little Island. I really like this view right here because you get a great view of the northwest quadrant, and you can see they have a giant amphitheater there. And during the summertime, they're going to have great performances there. I may have found the photo spot coming down from the southwest quadrant up to the northwest quadrant. There's this like beautiful rock with all the flowers. You can just pose. I dropped my mic. Cool. We have another crazy spinny thing here.
I don't know, they're trying to get people.
We would have posed with the fun spinny thing, but there was a guy doing a time lapse, so we didn't want to wait for a whole time lapse to pass. But you saw the idea. Spinny thing, fun. Pose with it if you want, enjoy, be hypnotized, contemplate life. They're cool, they're all over here.
Do all the above at the same time.
It says, please do not enter the stage. Thank you. Otherwise, you know I'd be on that stage. But this amphitheater is actually beautiful. Like the seats are great. One of the things that I really appreciate in any kind of performance space is really raked seats, so that one row is way higher than the one in front of it, so you can actually see what's happening. And these are really, really elevated. So that's great. I'm not the tallest human on the planet, and I always get a really tall person in front of me. So this is great. Oh, and whatever is performing on that stage, you can't beat that backdrop. You have the Hudson River. That's glorious. And at sunset time, that's right where the sun's going to set as well. So that's going to be beautiful. The performances here are going to be spectacular. I'm gonna have to, Scott, we have to get tickets to a performance here. We have to look at the schedule and book tickets, possibly as soon as we are done filming this segment, which is now. It is now time to leave the amphitheater, and we're going to walk up this hill to explore more of the northwest quadrant of Little Island. I'm actually really excited because there's a whole bunch of pine trees here. These pine trees come from all over the world, including some pine trees from Syria. Fun fact, my last name is Murad. The Murads in my family came over from Syria in 1904, so I always feel very excited anytime I find anything Syrian in New York City. I don't know that I'll be able to identify the pines from Syria, but that's my goal, and no matter what, I'm just going to enjoy the lush landscape. One of the things that I wish I was better at was being able to identify the very specific different types of plants, flowers, trees. I'm not, I have to get better at that. But one thing I do know about all of these trees is they're actually anchored into the base of Little Island with metal straps. We actually have like huge gusts of wind that come off of the Hudson River. And when it gets really windy, the designers of Little Island were afraid that the trees were going to blow out. And they said, how can we make sure that these trees are secured in place even on the windiest day? And they came up with the idea of strapping those trees to the base, so like under the ground, under the soil of Little Island. I feel while the southwest quadrant was so crowded with everyone taking photos, because you can see things like the Statue of Liberty from there, this northwest quadrant I think is really underrated. It's wonderful. There's this beautiful breeze, the water is glistening, you get a gorgeous view of Hudson Yards, and then if you look over the edge here, you're going to see these wooden sticks poking out. Those are remnants of the pier that was here before they built Little Island. And as I mentioned, they actually keep those wooden sticks there because they're part of the ecosystem of the Hudson River.
I just imagine this whole thing out here, or actually under there, as like some sort of like fish metropolis with all these high rises they can kind of scoot around and you know, do traffic and do their commutes through the buildings.
That's perfect. It's totally a fish metropolis. Here we have our various pine trees. They are really pretty. It's time to leave the northwest quadrant. Now, my friend Scott actually pointed out that often when you see artist renderings of new parks, they look so whimsical, and you think, if I go and visit, it's never going to look like that. And often you do go visit and those parks don't look like that. This park is just as whimsical as the artist renderings that we saw. This is super exciting. I have actually watched this island be built since probably about, I think they started the planning for it in 2013. So I've taken tour groups by it for at least 5 years, possibly longer. And it's really exciting to see it actually come to fruition. It is so glorious. All of the different flowers, all of the different trees. There's magical touches at every corner, like the area where you could hop and make music, the 2 different performance spaces, all of the glorious views. It is full of surprises. It feels like a magic fairy kingdom. It also feels very modern and fresh. The food was actually really, really great. I was really surprised. I could imagine that you could literally spend a whole day out here if you bring like a blanket and just sit out on the lawn, or you could come just for a quick stop. It's only a little less than 2.5 acres in size, so you could rush through the whole thing quite quickly, or you could luxuriate and stay here. I believe their hours are from like 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. Double check that on the website. So you could come here in the morning, spend all day out here, watch a glorious sunset, catch performance. I strongly recommend that you check out Little Island. I'm going to lie here for probably the next 3 hours, soak up the sunshine, enjoy the beautiful blue sky. I hope that you enjoyed this tour of Little Island. Don't forget to visit their website, littleisland.org. You can download a free audio tour that will tell you in depth about the construction of Little Island and about all of the different trees and grass and even the 5 different types of soil they use to make Little Island. It really is a whimsical wonder. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a New York Minute. I have tons of videos giving you tips and tricks about enjoying New York City. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bonus scene. We went and we ordered cocktails. I got the sangria. I forget what Scott got. He got the Meyer lemon and rosemary shandy. They look beautiful and they better taste great, because we put this order in at 4:10 and it's now 5 o'clock and we just got it. It's really good. It's really refreshing. Worth the wait. Good scenery. Hit subscribe. End credits part 2. Those drinks were very strong and very fairly priced at $12 a cocktail, which is really great for New York City.
Yeah.
They were good sized, they were delicious, and we just wanted to mention how nice everyone is here. Literally everybody that we have come in contact with who is the staff here at Little Island is just the nicest, so it adds to the experience. So we wanted to give a good shout out to the awesomely nice staff here at Little Island. Thank you for a great visit. End credits 3. Scott playing this cool musical instrument as we exit.